Hi, it's Erin from the Mind Body Project. Welcome back. Thanks for following me. Keep liking, subscribing. I read all your comments. So if you have any comments or questions, please keep them coming because that's what I'm answering now. Everybody's questions to me. Today's question, someone asked me, and I can feel this person here who's asked me this. Please tell me how one turns off their emotions so that they can just forget they feel anything at all. Right. This needs more of a strategic approach. Okay, so this is quite hard to answer in a question. I'm going to plug one of my courses on here now, which, by the way, any of you can start right this second. So if you're struggling with these type of problems, these courses you can do right now. Okay, so just go to www.mindbodyproject.co.uk, and what you'll have is you'll have a part 1 depression online course. So there's a part 1 which will go through a lot of content, but then there's a part 2 where I go through 32 behaviors to deal with when it comes to depression. Okay, and then at the end of that part 2, I will tell you exactly from day one what to specifically focus on and what to specifically do strategically. Okay, because there is a sequence to this. The way the question's asked is a problem for me because you're thinking about it in a completely different way than what you should be. It's not about taking emotions off. Because you're never going to be able to do that. You're always going to feel something, even if you're what we call dissociated, even if you just are struggling with feelings. What you need to do is, let's look at this triad of the emotional state. You need to focus. The first thing I would do is focus on physiology. When you're in that state that this person seems to be in, the first thing I'm going to do is look at what can I do physically to get myself out of it, because I've been where that person is. So I've been there. Right? And sometimes when you're in that state, even me, who's very trained and knows what I'm doing, once you get into a certain state, you don't have access to all of your normal behaviors. All the things that you are capable of doing when you're in the state that this person seems to be in, you may not have access to all of your behaviors. So this is where you have to look at this triad. And I always go back to this triad. Which of those things am I going to change to get myself out of this? Physiology. I have to change my state first. And the easiest thing to do without thinking about anything else is to go to the physiology. Okay, because that's the quickest way to get yourself out of any state. For example, I had a client on the phone. Client on the phone was crying her eyes out, crying her eyes out. And the first thing I could tell she was sitting down because I was modeling or copying her breathing patterns. So I was doing the same breathing patterns as her, and I felt really constricted. So what I did was, and she was crying, oh, I can't believe my life's so messed up. So what I did was I said, right, stand up. And she goes, well, how'd you? So she stood up, and I said, right, put me on loudspeaker and march on the spot. So she marched on the spot. And within 2 minutes, she had calmed down. The state was changed, because the state has to change when you change your physiology. This triad here is how you get to any state. Okay, but there is a strategy to do this long term, and it involves, you have to change your food, nutrition first for the first few days, and then fluids. Then you start doing some exercise. Then you start doing the planning and working everything out, the problems out. Okay, so there is a specific strategy to do it when you get to this state.